You wake up when your body is ready. No alarm, no schedule, and absolutely no place you need to be. For roughly 300,000 years, this was the exact reality of every single human morning. Compare that to the life you are living right now. A modern human will spend about 90,000 hours of their life working. That is a full 1/3 of your waking existence dedicated entirely to a job. We have built a reality where labor is a continuous, scheduled machine. You trade your time to an employer, you climb a ladder, and in exchange, you receive the wages required to survive. We tend to assume the alternative to this system is grim. The popular image of prehistoric human life is a desperate scramble for calories, a daily battle against starvation where people barely scraped by. The archaeological evidence tells a different story. Before employment, wages, or bosses existed, early humans were successful at surviving without spending all their time doing it. So, as they weren't working 40 hours a week, how did they actually fill their days? This prehistoric schedule provides a baseline for human life that looks very different from the world we inhabit today. To understand how we ended up here, we have to look at the rhythm of the life our ancestors actually lived. A Paleolithic day started slowly. You would eat leftover meat or berries gathered the day before. The morning fire was social. People talked and loosely planned out the day, acting entirely on their own terms. In 1963, anthropologist Richard Lee tracked the daily activities of the Juwansi people in Botswana, one of the few groups still maintaining a pre-agricultural lifestyle. Anthropologists consistently find the same data across continents, from Tanzania to Australia. Adults in these societies spent roughly 2.5 days per week acquiring food. That is a 15 to 20-hour work week dedicated to survival. When they did hunt, they relied on endurance. Humans are unique in our ability to sweat and regulate body temperature while running. Hunters would track prey at a steady, measured jog for hours until the animal simply overheated and collapsed. On days without a hunt, a morning might be spent scraping an animal hide, weaving a basket, or carefully sharpening a spear. People performed these tasks to build competence and earn the respect of their peers. Every action was self-directed. There was no clock to punch and no supervisor monitoring their output. They worked to master a skill, and once the food was secure, the labor simply stopped. By early afternoon, the survival tasks were essentially finished. What followed was a period of sustained rest and social immersion that modern schedules rarely allow. Adults spent up to 6 hours a day resting, grooming each other, playing with children, and telling jokes. In a society without money or police, relationships were the only currency. Investing immense amounts of time into social bonds ensured you would be fed if your own hunt failed. We know survival wasn't a constant panic because of what they left behind. Deep inside Chauvet Cave in France, explorers found 30,000-year-old paintings of lions and horses, rendered with complex shading and perspective. In Blombos Cave in South Africa, archaeologists discovered 100,000-year-old perforated seashells. The nearest coastline was 20 kilometers away. Someone walked a 40-kilometer round trip, then spent hours carefully drilling tiny holes through shells just to create jewelry. Researchers in Germany uncovered a 40,000-year-old flute carved from a vulture bone. The creator meticulously spaced out 5 finger holes to achieve specific pitches. These objects provided 0 practical calories. Art, music, and decorative jewelry exist in the archaeological record because early humans possessed massive amounts of free time and a desire for meaning. When the sun set, the tone shifted. Transcripts of modern hunter-gatherer conversations show that daytime discussions focus on logistics, like animal tracks and harvests. But at night, around the fire, 81% of the talk turns to myths, jokes, and ancestral tales. With full stomachs and physical safety secured, this relaxed evening environment provided the space for human culture, spirituality, and complex storytelling to develop. Eventually, they slept, but not in the single 8-hour block we force ourselves into today. Before artificial light, humans practiced two-phase sleep. They slept for 4 hours, woke in complete darkness for quiet reflection, and then slept another 4 hours. A typical day consisted of brief physical effort to secure food, deep social interaction, and long, unhurried periods of rest. Our bodies evolved to thrive in this exact biological rhythm. About 10,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent, humanity began planting seeds and domesticating animals. We tied ourselves to specific plots of land. Agriculture created a biological trap. Farming produced a surplus of calories, which caused human populations to explode. Within a few generations, there were too many mouths to feed through hunting and gathering. Society was locked in. To maintain those massive crop yields, humans had to adopt grueling, repetitive physical labor. Fields required endless plowing, weeding, harvesting, and guarding against animals and raiders. The skeletal evidence shows the direct physical cost of this shift. Compared to hunter-gatherers, early farmers were shorter. Their teeth were riddled with cavities from grain-heavy diets. Their spines showed severe arthritis, and they died at younger ages. Massive populations led to specialization. Cities required administrators, soldiers, and eventually the concept of employment. Time became a resource that belonged to someone else, traded away just to secure the resources needed to live. We traded absolute freedom for absolute food security. Today, we spend our lives chasing wealth and status, working thousands of hours in a complex system, hoping to one day retire into the exact same peace and unhurried freedom our ancestors woke up to every single morning.